Hey guys, this week we're going to go ahead and talk about setting up a scene in OBS. We'll actually download OBS and then we'll get a scene set up and stuff like that. In my last video, I did 5 things to consider before you get started streaming. One of the things was what platform are you going to stream to and what are you going to use to stream to that platform. So we'll go over OBS. I'll put a link down in the description. We'll set up a small scene, maybe 2 small scenes. And then you can kind of see how to get into the software, mess around with it a little bit. And that's really what you have to do, figure out where your sources are and to set them up. But it's really simple, it's really easy. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I really appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I'm DocValentino. I do tutorials, unboxings, video games, and really anything that has to do with technology. I've always loved technology and video games growing up. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. You can follow me at twitch.tv/DocValentino. Stop on by and catch me live. We can chat a little bit, have some fun. Special shout out to my wife for letting me use her laptop for this OBS video. It's the first time I've ever been on her computer, so we'll see how that goes. What is this? She doesn't have Chrome on her computer, and her battery's running low. Oh my goodness. Okay, first thing you want to do is get Chrome on your computer. I'll go ahead and do that and I'll be back. Okay, we have Chrome now, so we're going to go ahead and use Chrome to do all of this. And then in Chrome, you're going to want to go to, you can just look up OBS Studio. Okay, so obsproject.com. Go ahead and click there. And then it has your operating systems here. You're going to want to go ahead and click on the one that you have. In this case, I have Windows. And it'll just take a second to download. And then I'm going to go ahead and just install it here. You're just going to go ahead and hit next. Go ahead and decide where you want it to install. Install it. This really only takes a minute to do. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and hit finish. You can see that it was checked to launch, so it's going to go ahead and launch OBS. Okay, so optimize for streaming, recording is secondary. Optimize for just recording. I will not be streaming, or I will only be using virtual camera. So there's different things. The virtual camera is for like using it in Zoom meetings and stuff like that. For us, we're gonna go ahead and do streaming and recording is secondary, and then go ahead and just hit next. And then the space canvas resolution, you're gonna want that to be whatever you're using for your monitor, and then how many frames per second you wanna do. Obviously, the higher the resolution, the higher the frames per second, the more power it uses from your computer in order to stream or record. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and hit next. If you're going to be streaming, so we selected to stream, it wants you to connect to whatever service you have. There are more. There's a ton of them on here. You know, Twitch, one of the most popular ones, obviously, and then like Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and skip this step for now because I already have OBS connected to my Twitch on my other computer. Okay, and then you're in here and you're ready to start. And you might be looking at this saying, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? If you have it on your, if you set up a screen, you'll get kind of like an Inception type of thing. But we'll go over setting up an easy scene here real quick. So you can see this is just called scene, right? You can go ahead in here and rename it. And we'll just call this test scene. And then if you wanted to add a scene to that, you could just hit add here, and then you would name it something else. You know, we'll call this test scene 2, but you can name that, you know, gameplay, or, you know, if you're setting up a stream, you're going to want to have a starting screen and like an intermission, stuff like that. And then each scene you can assign different stuff. So we'll go ahead to the test scene, and then you want to add sources to that. So in order to get things in your stream, you're going to have to add your different sources. So that's your webcam, your screen captures, or whatever. So go ahead and hit add. And I do have a different webcam here plugged into this. But for here, I'm going to go ahead and do display capture. And we'll just leave that named display capture. If you have multiple monitors, you're going to want to probably name it whichever monitor you're going to be capturing. You hit OK. And then for this, I don't have a monitor plugged into this laptop. So it's basically going to show me what's on the screen. And this is the Inception look that I was talking about that you're going to get. So you have a screen and a screen and a screen and a screen, basically because it's capturing itself, which is showing it capturing itself, and so on and so on and so on. So you get this kind of weird vibe to it, and if you moved it around it would look kind of funky. But this is your base canvas size, is this. So if your screen resolution is set up differently than the canvas resolution, for instance, this is a 4K monitor, but I have it outputting to it at 1080p. So that 1080p canvas that I made is relevant to this. Otherwise, it would be, you know, like 4 times the size, because 4K is 4 times the resolution of 1080p. But we have everything lining up here, so that's why it's the same size. Now you can make things bigger or smaller just by dragging. If you want to actually make like a cropping, you can hold Alt and just grab the side here, and you see how that turns green. That's actually cropping the screen to make it smaller if you only wanted to show a section of your screen. This is more relevant for your webcam application. So right now we're capturing our display, which you would want to set up to capture your gameplay or something like that if you're doing gaming. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and set up a camera. So I do have this other camera connected here. Where's camera? Video capture device, jeez. Okay, so I'll name this Logitech webcam. Even though it might not be Logitech, but it is now. Okay, so basically, so the first one that it picks up is the one from the laptop here. It's picking me up, but I'm going to go ahead. You can see that this has several different things to choose from here. I'll do this HD webcam, which is the other webcam that I have set up here. And you can see that that's kind of a crappy camera, but I'll go ahead and leave it with that anyway. If you do, you know, you could set it up doing the one right on the computer here. I didn't even think about doing that, but sure, if you're gaming off a laptop, you can certainly have that set up there. We'll go ahead and pick this. As you can see here, I'm not really centered up in it. I have to turn my camera a little bit. Center me up in there, and then you can see if you look down here, you can see one of my daughter's boots. You can see my doorway and stuff like that. So I would want to adjust this camera to where I want it to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and make me smaller here. You know, and then I could throw myself over here. And there you have it. So, I mean, it's easy as that. That's what you're going to do to set up an easy scene where you have your webcam and you have your gameplay. Now for the gameplay, you can do display capture, which is probably what you're going to have to do if you're gaming on a console, because you're going to have to run that console through a capture card, and then you're actually going to have your capture card as one of the sources in there. Now it's not going to show up for me here, but you would basically do a video capture device, and then you would set it up as like your external capture device or whatever, and then you could select it there. It would actually show up as one of the sources. But it doesn't show up as one of the sources here for me. This camera here that I have up here, I'm actually doing IV cam, and I use an old iPhone as my capture device. So that's actually what I use as my webcam whenever I stream, and whenever I make my YouTube videos, I record them on my phone. So I didn't have to spend anything on expensive equipment or anything like that. I do have little things like a light ring here and stuff like that try to brighten it up and make it a little bit better. I would have to work with some of the adjustments on this cam here because the lighting is a little bit goofy on it. But I would want to, on this, I would want to, you know, maybe crop some things out. It looks good on that side, you know, but maybe crop that out, and then, you know, adjust myself so that I'm centered in the picture. It's as simple as that. Show you, I guess we could show you a couple other things too. You're going to want to input some kind of audio. Actually, you don't have to. So it looks like this is actually picking me up through the audio of the laptop, the microphone of the laptop, I mean. So you can go into here and you can go to properties. You can see that says default. And then you could pick, so internal microphone, which is what it's using, or the microphone from the HD webcam, which is the webcam up here that I named Logitech earlier. So I could do something like that too. That's going to give you some pretty bad audio, but it will get you something if you need some audio. I have a $40. It was $40 whenever I bought it. It's a Toner TC477 USB microphone. Something pretty cheap, but I'll put a link in the description for it. So that would show up. That's actually what I'm using to record my audio for this. So I can't put it as audio for inside of this OBS on my wife's laptop here. But I could go ahead and I'll select the HD webcam. Why not? HD webcam. I'll hit OK. Okay, so now the audio that this is picking up is actually going to be from that. And you can see when I go back into here, it says the HD webcam is the source for that. And then to turn off audio sources and stuff, you could just mute them here. You can right click on it and hide it if you wanted to, if you're never going to use the audio from that source. And then to switch scenes, you can just go here and click there. There is a way to do transitions and stuff like that. We're not going to get into that. This is just to set up a quick, easy setup. It's that easy. You just add a scene over here, and then over here you add the sources to that stream. So whatever type of source it is for gaming, if you're on a computer that's running the game and also doing your stream, then you can set up a game capture, and then whenever you put a game into full screen mode or whatever, then you can capture it that way. Otherwise, you'll have to do a display capture or something else. For music, for videos you can play, you can have different things, animated stuff. You can do media sources. A lot of once you start getting into really setting up a stream, and you set up something in Stream Elements or Streamlabs for alerts and stuff like that, those are all going to be browser sources, and you would get the link for that within Stream Elements or within Streamlabs. So there's a lot you can do with it. Okay, so then for instance, let's say you wanted another scene here. So you have this with, you set this up with your gameplay or whatever, and you set this up with your webcam here. And you want to go to this other scene, and you want to have that be like an intermission, like a chatting screen or something like that. You can just go ahead here. You can add your video capture device, and then instead of hitting create new, you could just hit add existing, and you can see that our webcam's already in there as a source. So go ahead and select it, and boom, you have the same cam that you just set up in the other scene in this scene now. And then you could do the same thing, but let's say this is a chatting scene that you want to use. You could just leave it the way it is. Or you could put a border around it. You can make it a little bit smaller, maybe put some other information on the screen here, whatever you might want to do. So, and that about wraps it up. I mean, there's not much to it. The software is free to download. Again, there's a link in the description below. The scenes are pretty easy to set up. Now, if you are going to stream, you're going to want to probably link your account to it. If you're not using Twitch, if you're using YouTube or Facebook, you're going to need a stream key in order to stream to those. You can also stream with a stream key to Twitch, but it's easier just to link your account to it. And there are some settings that you're going to want to set up to make sure that your internet does have the capability to upload whatever it is you're trying to upload. You can't put your settings at 4K and try to stream. Twitch can't handle that anyway. A lot of people say 720p is good enough. I do 1080p at 30 frames per second. And then there's some other stuff that you can set up in there as well. The sampling and the quality and stuff like that to try to optimize it to what your internet can do and what your computer can do even. But I find that the load on my computer, if I'm streaming with console to computer, the load on my computer isn't very high. The computer that I have isn't overpowered by any means at all. It has an RTX, I think 2060 graphics card in it with 6 gig of RAM. So it's not top of the line. It has an i7 chip in it. So it's a pretty decent gaming laptop, but it does struggle if I'm trying to game and stream at the same time. So I've been finding myself playing on console and streaming with the PC for now until I get enough cash that I can actually buy a decent gaming PC, and then I'll have a dual PC setup at that point. I really appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you like the video. I release one video a week, and I intend to keep doing that. Don't forget to check out my stream, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Spaghetti forks are us. What is this other video? Let's ride. The donuts that this kid's doing.
Is it considered a pot? Is it considered a spaghetti spork?
That's the exact response I had hoped for.
This is the funniest thing ever. Look, I'm putting it up on my stream. What in the world?
Poor kid.
The dad's like, The dad's like, what the hell am I supposed to do?